Hey, buddy.
Man, Lee Talk, JD Bunkis, Sam McKee. I just tweeted it. That felt way too important for November.
Yeah, I was sneaky stressed out watching that game.
Same,
Like
same.
during the playoffs last year, my back really started barking for no reason, and like I really was like my back. I know I'm 35 and I'm washed up and I'm tall, and that's maybe why. But
Yeah,
I figured
you're
out that
toast.
I was figuring out that I was standing for every Leafs game, and I was like, maybe that's why my back is killing me. And I stopped standing for all these Leafs games, and my back didn't hurt as much. I was on the stand zone the entire third period. I stood the entire time. Like I was locked into this game in a way that I shouldn't be in November. It was an incredibly important 2 points for Leafs to get tonight, especially after being up 4-1 and blowing it and letting 4 in again. You had to get 2 points tonight, and they end up getting in the shootout. But boy, that felt way too big.
My version of that is the pace, where it's like I'll do some pacing and then I'll like to go get a water at the start of or during the breaks and play,
Yeah, yeah.
and then take like a split second too long coming back to the TV, going like, oh
Mm.
gosh, I need a break from this.
No.
I I I don't know why it felt so big, but it just did. I said it was a must-win game for the Leafs because they've got this back-to-back with Vancouver and then 2 games in Sweden. Man,
Mhm.
they're going to play twice in 12 days.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Twice.
What the hell are we going to
So,
talk about on the radio?
well,
Oh, you talking about the Raptors, I
I'm
guess.
going to talk about everything else. What are you talking
Yeah,
about? You get to do everything.
it's true.
You guys are going to be what the fans hate, manufacturing storylines
No,
out of
we're gonna be
nowhere
Jeff
to
Merrick
do.
Show 2.0. Like it's just gonna be Jeff Merrick Show again.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough ride for you guys. But I can't imagine had the Leafs blown this game and then lost tomorrow to Vancouver, what it would have been like with
Yeah.
those travel days going over to Sweden, trying to figure out how they were gonna find themselves in foreign arenas,
Mhm,
playing a couple of what would have been just massive games at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 8 a.m. That
mhm.
was a big win, man. That was a big win. And I'll say this, they went to sleep during parts of this game. There's just no doubt about it. After they got the lead, and man, just the same thing continues to pop up for this team, which is they score a goal and then they give up a goal
I
shortly
hate it.
after.
It's a bad trend because it's
It,
happened a ton.
it happens way too much. They set a record, or they tie a record for the 4 goals against through the
Mhm.
first 8 games at home in a season. So it's not
Expansion
all.
sins. They're like
Yeah,
the worst team ever. 14
yeah,
wins for that team.
it's not all sunshines and rainbows. But I will say, the last 10 minutes of the third period, they dialed it up to 11.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they caved in the Calgary Flames tonight.
Mhm.
I thought the Leafs played with an edge that we really haven't seen from them all season long, from basically the beginning of the game through the end of it. I thought that if it wasn't a tie game, the Leafs probably would have had a scrap in there, especially after the Bertuzzi hit. They were
Mhm.
just kind of scrumming it up in front of their own net, not letting guys touch their goaltender.
Yeah.
And there's the play with Gio at the end of the second period. I just thought this was a really, really encouraging game for the Leafs. And that's why it almost felt even more important that they got the W, that they won in the shootout, because it didn't feel like you could make any case for the moral victory tonight.
No.
They needed to have this one and they got it. So good for them.
I know. And if you're watching on Sportsnet Plus or on YouTube, you see our sweet boy Lagesson absolutely
Oh, yeah.
cleaning out Kadri in front of the net. And another
Yeah.
game from him tonight where leading Leafs talking about Lagesson on brand, but he was physical again tonight. And I thought the whole team, you talk about like the urgency in this and them knowing what's on the line here. It felt like they were, except for a couple sleepy moments, which are definitely issues, it definitely felt like they knew how important these 2 points were and how big it felt. And like it's the Hall of Fame game.
Mhm.
And it's nice to see them sort of rise to that occasion. And yeah, they got the 2 points. But yeah, I don't know where you want to go next, but it was nice to see them stick with it after they blew that lead. It's easy for them to go
Yeah.
into a shell. And like you said, the second half of the third period, it was all Leafs, as dominant as they've looked all year. I think they said on the broadcast they had one shot after they scored the tying goal. Like they were just
Yeah.
completely suffocating for the rest of that period. So that's encouraging for me.
Yeah. See, it's like you want to give them credit for that, but it's also they put themselves in that position. They're
Yes.
up 4-1 in the hockey game. Just play that way with
From
that
that
kind of
point.
tenacity
Yes.
throughout with your lead.
I
And
know.
that's the part where it's frustrating, is because they still did the bad thing. They still
Mhm.
did the thing where I thought that they looked shell shocked through the first 5 minutes of the third period. They showed up and it was awful. I was
Mhm.
pissed. I was firing text in multiple group chats. You were in on some of them,
Oh, yeah.
or I was just letting the heat fly because it was the piss off zone. But yes, good for them. They rallied. They recognized the moment. By the way, too, I do want to say this is a little bit of pandering, but I genuinely feel it.
Mm.
Good job by the fans tonight.
What do you mean? Like,
I
just
thought the
they're
building
into
I
it?
thought the building had energy, and there was some good Go Leafs go chants when they needed it. It's a barn that takes a lot of heat when
I
they
know.
don't do anything,
It's such
and
low hanging fruit. I hate the making
sure.
fun of the people for being quiet at the arena. It's like, it's not football. It's not like where you're like, "Oh, our team sucks," and they've been
Mm,
blowing leads and you're just like on your feet the entire time. Like it's
yeah,
always been in a reactive sport. They're good to chant "Go Leafs go." Like that's just the way it is down there. It's always the way it
mhm,
is. And other teams' fan bases love to like pile on that. It's like, "Oh yeah, I'm playing the parade, 67, quiet barn." It's like, shut up. Honestly,
mhm,
like shut up. But you're right, they were into it, and I thought there was a couple sort of tight, what moments throughout
mhm,
that third period where the crowd was a little tight too, but they got
yep,
behind him. And for the rest of that, they could feel it. They grew into the game with the Leafs in that last 10 minutes. They were really starting to pour it on in terms of cheering and go Leafs go and stuff. So I felt like it was a good crowd towards the end. It's Friday night, baby. It's a Hall of Fame game. It's a good Canadian matchup. People are
have some
loose.
drinks, let
Yeah,
loose,
it's
root
time.
on
It's
the
Friday
team.
night. Let's go.
Yeah. That's you got that stupid song stuck in my It's Friday night. Yeah, so like soon as you said it, let's boff into that. Okay, I think that the natural place to go is Nylander, but I'm actually gonna save that because
Okay.
I've got two bullet points that I want to discuss. One is
Mhm.
I thought Wall looked shaky for a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
this game tonight. He let in a stinker on the first goal. It wasn't a very good one. Some of the other ones are just, traffic in front of the net, rebounds, tips, a couple that he didn't have a chance on, but he didn't look very calm. And I'm thrilled with the way that he played in overtime and the way that he performed in the shootout
Yeah.
because I wonder if his confidence got a little knocked over the last couple of games. And that seemed to really settle him in. He made
Flames
two
break up 2-on-1.
monster
Hannafin with
saves.
Lindholm
I
going to
hear.
the goal.
Yeah,
Hannafin,
this one
Lindholm!
is
Stop by
for
Wall!
use.
Terrific
Just
save by Wall!
lovely, lovely stuff. And then the breakaway, the young JD poke check that never
Was it the
worked.
stick or his
Yeah, I think so.
pad? I thought it was his pad that got
Oh,
out
I
there.
I thought
He
he I
tried
thought
to
he
poke check, and then I
oh,
thought it
he
was his
missed the
pad
poke?
that maybe I don't know. It was a bang bang play. I don't know if you have it handy there,
Yeah.
Jobo, but they were saying poke check, and I thought to my eye that it was the pad, but it could have been either. It was a great play. He came out aggressively. He
Yeah.
challenged him, and he got the
Yeah.
puck off the guy's stick. It was an awesome play. But yeah, like he was really good in the shootout too.
Mhm.
The only one that was like a snapper right under the bar. Not a whole lot he's going to be able to do on that.
No.
But yeah, like I really did hate the first goal. I thought that one reeked. I hated it. It was like a terrible rebound right back to the guy after he shot like the softest little shot. But
Mhm.
you're right. I mean, it was a clutch performance in overtime. Like they don't win it without him. He was really good and he grew in confidence as the game went on. And maybe you can build off of it. But yeah, like I'd be lying if I said my total confidence in him after watching him in a couple of games at the start of the year hasn't been
Mhm.
shaken a little bit. And I think any Leaf fan listening to this would feel the same way. Like it just hasn't been the same the last two games,
Uh,
especially what was the game that he was in that they lost? Who'd they play? I'm losing my week. Oh yeah,
what,
they
the last
played
10?
they played the Sens, yeah, on
Yeah.
Wednesday, right? That
Yeah.
game, I was like, yeah, that shook me pretty hard to my core. And then today was kind of heading in the same direction, but he really,
Right.
really stepped up in overtime. So maybe get the confidence going, like you said.
But that's what I'm saying. I genuinely think that that was really important. Like
Yeah.
if we're bleeding one conversation from the next, which is, hey, the team knew it was important
Hmm.
to get that win and not have bad momentum rolling into the Vancouver game. I really do think that it was important for Wool to make some big saves, to feel
Yeah.
like he was a part of the team, and to yeah, just basically be one of the major reasons that they ended up getting it because of the overtime. And man, phew, still can't believe how big that was for them. But the other thing that I wanted to do before this was, oh, and by the way, too, Wool could have let in another goal tonight because the refs blew a puck dead
Oof.
early on.
And he was
That
scrambling on that. Like he couldn't
exactly,
find it at all. And it was
yeah,
right there. That was a live puck.
yeah,
Live, live puck. And then our
big
boy
time live
Lagesson
puck.
cleans him out, even though he scores a totally legit goal. Cleans
Yeah.
him out.
Um, I genuinely thought that, of course, Nylander is the headline player. We will
Mhm.
get to it because I think that for the very beginning he was flowing. But I thought Nick Robertson might have been the best Leaf tonight.
Really?
He
Yeah.
was spectacular, dude.
Yeah. So this is a tough one for me with him. I'm really enjoying this call up more than I've enjoyed any of the other ones. And Keefe said it the best this morning, called him more polished, which I thought was the perfect adjective for him in terms of what he's looked like since his call up. And I think that you just, is this the time? Is this the one that's going to work? Is he going to stick with it? And like, you can't help but look at this Leafs D8 core, and you can't help but wonder, like, is this call up, if it lasts a little bit longer and he shows up and he keeps looking this good, does he play himself back into having value into a piece that you're able to make a move towards the deadline for a defenseman that you desperately need? And
All I know,
this is why general managers get paid millions of dollars for making decisions like this.
mhm,
It's like, do you believe it? Or is this like every other call up that he's had? He's finally getting a little bit older. He looks more confident. Like, it's a
mhm.
really scary one now where these 3 games he's looked the best he has. And by far his best game as a Leaf tonight that he's
No,
ever had. Like,
tonight was just awesome.
he scored an overtime winner against the Stars last year, but you're right. He was excellent. So
Yeah.
it's a tough one for me where I don't know where this is headed with him. And I could see both sides of it.
Buddy, you don't have to make a decision. I'm just talking about
No,
tonight.
I know.
Tonight, he was spectacular. He
But it's all I
played with a
think about
ton.
when I watch him.
Yeah, but just right now, tonight, he was
Yeah.
spectacular. He was skating beautifully. His wrist shot was aggressive and pretty solid. Rang one off the bar.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought that his move in the shootout was very clean. He just couldn't handle it. Just bobbles off of some bad ice that
Mhm.
like was bouncing for a lot of different guys. He just looked like an NHLer tonight, and a good one. And that third line, they contributed with a big goal in this game.
Mhm.
And it seems like Toronto has found something with Domi moving to center,
Mhm.
Robertson coming up looking like an NHLer, and Yarncroc, who is become sort of their Swiss Army knife, where you can just sort of put him anywhere and he looks good. He's that kind of player that Keefe likes to have, that can move up and down the lineup and basically gives you the same thing wherever he is. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
yarn
think
foot.
that just if you're looking for major positives from this game, like,
Yeah.
yeah, Nylander, Tavares, Bertuzzi, that line was their best line tonight, no question about it. They were dominant. Nylander was incredible. I thought Tavares was really, really awesome tonight. He
Mhm.
made a couple of just really beautiful moves in transition too. But if you're looking for, hey, reasons to believe, things that you can build off of, things that you really need to see, wiping away some of the red flags from the season so far, I just think
Mhm.
that the third line actually being dangerous and feeling like they have an identity is huge for them.
Couldn't agree more. Love what I've seen from them. You mentioned the second line. I
Mhm.
think maybe the most positive thing out of the game for me tonight is how Bertuzzi looked on that line. I thought they had the most chemistry by far tonight.
Yep.
I just really found like he's starting to feel like he's found his role with those 2 guys. Like, it's been a long stretch here of, whipping boy material with him and him not really fitting in anywhere. And it's been a bit of a slow burn with those 2 guys. But it felt like him and Nylander are actually having a little bit of chemistry now. And his
Mhm.
passing tonight was good. He set up multiple guys in the sweet spot where he's like, I haven't noticed this much about him leading up to tonight, but it felt like his
Mhm.
passing was really good tonight. Found Riley streaking down the slot, like
Mhm.
a nice saucer pass into the middle of the ice. Found Nylander a few times. That to me, like, if they can just find a way to get him to 85, 90% of himself, this offense will be so much more potent. But man, to me, I think the way he's looking with that line, and I think, that's a big reason why they look so good tonight, is they finally have a
Mhm.
third guy that is capable in contributing. That really, really made me feel good about tonight and how they look. There's something about Bertuzzi tonight that just really impressed me.
So to me, it just looks like the game is slowing down for him now.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's true. Just not
And
not as rushed.
yeah, and that's what some of those plays that you're seeing, just
Yeah.
maybe he knows where guys are. Like, chemistry is real, right?
Oh
It's why
yeah,
guys
no
hate
question.
moving. It's why they hate moving lines, is they want to be able to gel. They want to know where guys are. It's not the NFL with a timing pattern
Mm,
where it's a quarterback and a receiver getting it down to the split second, but you want to know where guys like to get the puck. And I think Bertuzzi's starting to figure that out with Tavares and Nylander. That being said, I do think Tavares and Nylander were just the main drivers for the Leafs
for
tonight.
sure.
Tavares was brilliant, and Nylander deserves all the headlines possible because, yeah, the strip play and the goal, just how hungry he was on the puck early on in this
Yeah.
game. I love how easy and effortless he makes it look. And even this celebration, I really like, where he's just like, yeah, I just did that. Whatever. Hand up. Yeah.
He first career shorty, I believe, right? First career
Yeah.
shorty for him. Like,
Yeah.
his edge work and strength is
Disgusting.
world class.
Yeah.
There are not many men or women on planet Earth that have the ability to do what this guy does every night. He is a truly elite athlete when it comes to
Mhm.
skating. The way he uses his edges, his strength, the way he drops his shoulder, like he has really, really come into his own here. And he takes the
Mhm.
sub. I call him the TTC Skedaddler. Shout out to Stompin' Tom taking the TTC, the TTC Skedaddler. Ding!
I
He
think you
just
added an
take.
extra T there. I was thinking maybe we call him Rocket Man.
That's good. I mean, that's way better than the TTC Skedaddler, but I just like shouting out Stompin' Tom. The
Fair enough.
TTC Skedaddler.
Yeah, we heard you.
Ka-ding!
We heard you do it.
I want to
It
do
looked,
it. I want to do it all night.
dude.
He's skedaddling out there, bud.
His celebrations. It's like, so there's the Hockey Hall of Fame alumni game or Legends
Oh
Classic
yeah,
on Sunday afternoon.
yeah.
It's like he was playing in the Legends Classic. The reactions with these goals, just yeah, all right, good. So we're just here for a charity. We're just here to have some fun and raise some funds for the hall. That's the way he plays it.
Can I
Just
tell you
so
something?
cool.
William
Yeah,
Nylander will never play one of those games. He'll be so deep on a Swedish beach by the time
yeah,
he's retired.
true.
There's no way he's coming back to play one of those games.
Keeps playing
No
like this
chance.
though. Keeps playing like this. Keeps making plays like that one behind the net, and he's gonna walk into the hall.
Yeah.
That is,
Whoa, yeah.
yeah, that's gonna happen for him if he's playing it like that. I'm
William
telling you,
Nylander Hall of Fame night.
dude. If this version,
Oh,
you
I
get
love it.
8 more years of this from his career. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? How many players do you think are better than him right now in the NHL?
I'd say 10, 11. He's a top 15 guy to me,
Yeah,
100%.
I
But listen,
unquestionably.
you just start naming off guys and it gets deep quick here,
Yeah,
right?
I'm telling
Like it's
you
just
right now that
okay.
there's not 10 guys, there's not 10 forwards this
Oh,
season that are
forwards.
playing better than William Nylander.
Okay, forwards. All right. Well, if you're changing
Yeah,
it to that, then it's different. But 10 guys
sure.
in the AHL, yeah, like he's a top 20 guy, probably a top 10 forward.
Mhm.
I think that's a fair place to meet.
The way he's playing right now is just brilliant. Again, I think if you if you like learning about flow states, just when
Uh-huh.
a guy just completely in the zone,
Uh-huh.
he is that to me right now. Where he's just feeling it. Everything's working for him. The zone entries are pure. It's funny listening to Mike Johnson just gush about him during the broadcast.
Oh my.
No, come, I dare you.
Is
He's just
Johnny
losing
his
his
agent? Like, oh
dude. I
my
know he's
God.
losing his mind talking about
No.
him. It's like,
Holy
I
crap,
dare
man.
anybody to go up there and try to
Yeah.
challenge him. I was like, relax.
Oh,
It was pretty funny. I
it
enjoyed
was.
that part of the game.
Me
But yeah,
too.
no, man, he's been brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I gotta do the negatives
Yeah,
now.
it's time. It's time. Unfortunately, it's time.
I think that's the last game Ryan Reeves should play. I don't think they should take him on the trip. I've been on record saying you got to take him on the Sweden trip. You can
Ugh.
take him, but you got to leave him on the plane and make him wait on the tarmac.
What
It's
do you
over, dude. It's over. And this is genuinely my opinion. I think that Tree Living has to take this out of Sheldon Keefe's hands. I think he's got to come down after this game, celebrate the win, say, good job, boys. This was a big one. On to Vancouver tomorrow night. But
Mhm.
hey, Sheldon, can I talk to you for a minute? I'm
Yeah,
waving Ryan Reeves. I'm sending him down. He's gone. He's 37 years old. He's stiff.
yeah.
There's this weird pushback people give, like of it's not Ryan Reeves' fault, and I get
What?
it. The
Who
well,
does?
the one well, I've just seen it from some people. I've seen it, and there's he played 4 minutes tonight.
That's what I
Like
was looking up.
he's played
433
4 minutes
dash
and two
2.
two pucks went in the net.
I know.
It's over, man.
It's over.
It's done. You cannot do this anymore. And Sheldon Keefe benched him for the entire third period. He was mixing in some of the other players, and they were playing with
Mhm.
NHLers, and they were notably fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
Like Gregor was fine, and
Yeah.
Camp was fine,
Yep.
and Ryan Reeves wasn't there. And you went, thank God, the entire time. Thank God. Bad first goal by Wool, where he's on the ice, and Reeves probably just feeling it. They actually took a shot of Reeves
I know.
after the second one where he looked just down in the dumps. And I felt for the guy dude, everybody was rooting for the Ryan Reeves thing to work. If you had a pulse or a soul, you weren't just some analytics nerd that was just begging for this to happen. Everyone was rooting for Reeves, but it's just not, he's 37 years old. He can't move. He's a complete, yeah, he's hurting this team pretty badly. And if they want to be competitive and they want to win these regular season games and they want to
Mhm.
keep the puck out of their net, then I think that they should remove the guy that's minus 11. That's my real big hot take. Just
Yeah.
no more.
I think I will sum it up by saying enough is enough.
Mhm.
It's enough. Like
Yep.
you can't you can't keep doing this to the team. You can't keep doing this to the player. You can't keep doing this to the fans. It's malpractice. You can't keep putting them out there. They're getting
Mhm.
scored on. Like -2 in 433 is pretty much as bad as it gets.
Mhm.
That's I could do that. Like that's like it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
A lot of people could do that.
Yeah,
It's
like that's doable.
Man, it's just if you look at the Marlies right now, there's
Mhm.
like how many players on the Marlies could give you more than what Reeves is giving you every night? And he's got what, 2 fights this year?
Yeah. And there was the first two games. It was
Yeah,
against he fought Jack Eye and then he
yeah,
fought Marcus Foligno in the second game against the Wild, and he hasn't fought since.
yeah. Um, I
So
thought that there was a less frenetic start for the Leafs tonight. For just going into the bullet points now, that they
okay.
came in, that they were calm, which
Mhm.
was nice to see. It looked like they really had a different attention to detail. And what you could see in this game that was very different from some of the others was way more of a commitment from the forwards to back check and to make sure that they were providing support to the D.
Yep. They seemed a little bit more connected for sure.
Yep.
And McCabe returns. Was he a dash two tonight? I didn't love a lot of his game. I wouldn't say. I think it looked like a guy who was pretty rusty,
Hmm.
mixed in with some McCabe stuff that we haven't liked. But I'll tell you, I didn't miss number 3 a whole lot. So we'll see what go happens tomorrow night. You believe that he's playing hurt. I think he's probably somewhat hurt.
Yeah.
Kipper dropped it on our show today that they, floated it out there about potential, an island with a Robidas attached to it. So I don't know what's going to happen with this guy, but it's
Hmm.
another thing where I doubt he plays tomorrow. They go to Sweden. Maybe he gets in both the games in Sweden. The human element. The guy's a Swede. He's a,
Hmm.
you play him there and then you go from there. But I don't know what goes on with him. But yeah, as a core, I thought they looked better tonight. They just 4 still went in. So it's hard to give
Hmm.
them a ton of compliments.
No, 4-1 in the net. Um, I don't think that anybody missed Klingberg tonight. I will
No.
say I do think he's hurt. I went
Yep.
back and loaded up the long version of the game
Mhm.
from yesterday to kind of look at some of the plays, and he's just it looks like he's having a really tough time moving laterally.
Well,
So
and we
I think
remember.
there's something there. I
Well,
don't think it's
yeah.
like a whole excuse, but I don't think that this injury, him missing tonight's game, that he was a healthy scratch and that this is a conspiracy and that he's just like a little dinged up. I think that he was gutting it through whatever he was dealing with, and he, yeah, needed some time in the press box. I don't think he's
Well,
playing tomorrow either. I will say Benoit is a really tough watch.
he's not great.
There's really not much there. Lagesson, he's just he's nasty, so we like him. It just shows you how much this city is begging for guys like our age, just beg for blue collar players because Lagesson is literally doing nothing
He's the most
all that long.
average guy ever, but he just
But
hits somebody once in a while. It's like, whoa,
and he just lays lumber. He just puts
slashes guys.
sticks. He is a slash cross check. God, he loves the stick work. I'm into it. I'm a big Lagesson guy. This
So
show is clearly
Legason is the
is the
man.
man. Yeah, thank
Correct.
you, Joe. Correct. Lagesson is the man. It's just, yeah, like but like that's the McCabe shove. So
Yeah.
not Lagesson there, but yeah. I love seeing the Edge tonight. That was one of the biggest positives for me is that they were just in it. They were scrumming. They weren't afraid of it. And like I said, if it wasn't such a tight hockey game and they knew that the point wasn't everything tonight, the extra point, I think you would have seen a scrap or two or even a little bit more of it. Leafs didn't have a power play tonight, right?
No, I don't think so. No, they did.
No,
Didn't they have one early? No? Zeros?
I don't think so. I don't
No,
remember one. All I remember is the penalty that this week one that got called to McKay, but it was fine because it was a makeup because the Flames scored a goal. So they went, yeah, all right, you're allowed to have
I'm
an extra
looking
one.
right
Plus, I
now.
don't even really know why Kadri went to the box when
No.
he just got
He
jumped by
he scored a
Lagesson.
legit goal and got punched in the face like 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but the Kadri penalty, Joe,
Yeah, I
was
think they
not a
were both
power play.
offsetters, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. So
Um,
Jobo, come on, Joe.
uh,
You're a stats guy.
just to go back quickly to Klingberg,
Yeah.
remember he missed the whole preseason.
Yeah.
Like he got hurt in the first preseason game and then he
That's
missed the
right.
whole preseason and he came back at the start of the year and everybody said it was fine or whatever. So I think it's not outside the realm of possibility that he's actually hurt. But
Mhm.
like if he's not hurt, I think what Keefe did today for him was a great move. Like going out there and saying he's dealing with something, he's banged up, and like talking about protecting him. That's how you do it. You don't go
Mhm.
out there and say like we need more from him. We need like he went out there and he just said that he's hurt and that he's going to the press box because of that. So that's how you protect him.
Yeah. I think that if you play, the injury excuse kind of goes a little bit out the window. If you're too hurt to play, don't play if you're going to hurt the team.
Yeah.
it's a little bit of mitigating circumstances. I will say it if he really was gutting it through an injury because
Mhm.
the Leafs were so thin on the blue line waiting for McCabe to get back before
Yep.
he could take a rest. So
Yep.
I'm going to refrain from it from now. But yeah,
Yep.
they certainly didn't miss him, and I did think that was kind of interesting that Kipper dropped the Robidas Island thing.
Yeah.
That was there. I don't have much else here. You
I
got
do.
anything else you want to hit on? Yeah.
Uh, and Jobo just put it in the chat as I was about to say it. But God, that Zadorov hit was so beautiful on Bertuzzi.
Hmm.
This is exactly like right in the sweet spot, shoulder to shoulder, and just separates man from puck. Look at catches him, bang, trolley tracks. That's as sweet as it gets. I I would have loved to see gloves go flying off immediately. Like, that's that big kind of hit. I hate the look with the Zadorov standing there ready to fight and no one fighting him. But it actually is a really huge part of a game where you need points and you can't take like a penalty instigating or whatever. But I
Hmm.
didn't love the visual of that.
I completely disagree. This is hockey. One of my biggest pet peeves is that it's just like that there's so little hitting now that when there's a clean big hit, guys feel the need to drop them.
For sure.
I think there's a couple things at play here. One is that it's David Camp who flies in to
Yeah.
Zadorov. There's nobody on the ice that's going to scrum it up with Zadorov there. Two is that you mentioned it's a tight game,
Yeah.
but the biggest part of it, Bertuzzi just pops right back up. He takes a number and he keeps playing.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
it's
No,
just
listen, I don't
it's a
mind
flow of
it.
the game. I don't think that that's a bad visual. That to me is not one of them. If Bertuzzi's laying there on the ice, if he doesn't get up,
Yeah.
then yes, I want to see bodies fly in, and I want to see the Leafs just start chucking on Zadorov. You know what my thought was? It was not that at all. It was I hope Zadorov's the guy that the Leafs target in the trade. They've rumored the rumor mill has been always kind of buzzing about Zadorov.
Yeah.
I
And
feel like
Tanev.
he's just the guy. I want that guy on the Leafs. Just a big body defenseman who lays big hits and who fans here would just adore. So yeah.
Can
Tree
I
living. What?
I would prefer Tanev if I'm being of the two. If I could, it's just
Yeah, I'm a Zadorov guy. He's my number one wish list item.
the right hand shot, the guy
Mhm.
that with Tanev, like to me, who Quinn Hughes was the best, until this year was the best he's ever been with, the true defensive
I was
guy.
gonna say that's not this year, buddy.
Not
They
this
got the
year.
best
Well, yeah,
pairing
but he's
in
got another
hockey.
guy that's like Hronek, who's
Yeah.
more of a defensive guy, who's like, who the best guys Riley's always played with are the stay-at-home guys that he, like Shen and Hainsey and Matt Hunwick that he played with for a while where he was really good.
Mhm.
But it just to me, Tanev is the
Honey
guy from
Badger.
that. Yeah, Tanev from that back end, right hand shot, can play with Riley. You can move Brody down a little bit to help other guys. That's to me is the number one wish list for me with Tanev. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think
Give me anybody at this point, honestly.
they need a body
Give
bad. They need a
Yeah,
body really bad.
get a guy, get a
They
guy.
do.
So you really hope that the Flames fall off a cliff and that the Leafs
Yeah,
are able to kind of start to pick the scraps of this team, or
yeah.
that Tree Living is able to still work some of those connections.
Can I,
That's it for me though.
quick Hall of Fame take, because since it's Hall of Fame weekend and the Hall of Fame game.
I don't want to do it because my take is not about these guys. It's about who's not there, and it
Yeah,
just
well,
pisses
that's
me off.
mine. That's me
Yeah.
too.
But
It's
I
like
don't like taking away from the guys that are
no, they
there.
got in and they're deserving guys, but it's just like, come on,
Mhm.
McGillney got to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well,
Cujo is a Hall of Famer.
yeah.
I
Well,
watched his whole career.
I've done. You can go look up when they didn't put McGillney in the Hall. I've actually gotten into it with a Hall of Fame voter pretty publicly over the Alexander McGillney decision. Yeah,
I don't
may
remember
have
that
had to
one.
wait an apology email about
Okay.
it. Even
Well,
yeah,
maybe I won't bring it up then.
uh,
Sorry about that.
I wasn't really sorry either. I was not, but
All right, we can move on.
But yeah, I have a McGillney video on YouTube that if
Yeah,
you want to search just
yeah.
JD Bunkis
Okay,
podcast McGillney, that
will
you'll
do.
find that yeah, I outlined the case pretty clearly. But tonight pissed me off actually extra because of Cujo, because yeah, we're now getting into the goalies of my time, and it's pretty hard to make a case that Cujo
Well,
during his I'm a prime dominance guy. I'm a believer of when you get into these halls, the guys that are Hall of Famers are not necessarily just the guys who won. I think that winning is obviously massive, but having a peak career where you're clearly one of the best three guys at your position over a long period of time,
yeah,
or over a significant period of time, that should be the number one qualifier. And so I saw those three goalies, and good for them. I was obviously a huge Lundqvist guy.
yeah.
Uh, But
Bunky's a Hall of Famer. That's like
Lundqvist
that's
is the most
yeah.
no doubt about it guy. It's just Cujo. If you're here's what I would say if all the Hockey Hall of Fame voters
Mm-hmm.
see now I'm taking it too far, but if all the Hockey Hall of Fame voters
Sorry, I shouldn't have brought this up.
they were like, hey, you get all three of those guys in their prime, and your life is on the line. Who's in net? It would be Cujo across the board. There wouldn't be one guy that would put their life in Barasso's hands over Cujo. So yeah, that's all I got to
Vernon
say about it.
Vernon did win 2 cups and was a Conn
Yeah.
Smythe. Played 19 seasons.
Dude,
That's a pretty
this
unassailable
has
record.
nothing to do with the fact that
Yeah,
these guys
yeah.
don't deserve to be there. I'm just saying that a guy who was better than them to me is not in, and it just seems really political sometimes with that hall, and it's
100%.
annoying.
Yep. All
Okay.
good. That's it. I'm done. Sorry for bringing
Thanks.
that up, pal.
You're just
My
like,
bad.
I like it. You're like, he said, I was like, I don't want to do it. He was bury me. I'm in trouble.
Seward you.
Yeah, thank you. You're my best friend. Argos tomorrow, by the way. Argos.
Oh yeah.
Top the
Okay.
team. We both got the same one, but that's yeah. Oh yeah, baby. Let's go
Argos.
back to back. First team, possibly first team ever, gonna win 17 games in the CFL season.
Yeah, the
Let's go.
Eskies lost in the West Final in the 70s. So
choke.
Argos looking to go for the first team ever to win 17 games. Yet
Yeah.
another feather in the cap of the best player in the league by far, Chad Swag Kelly.
Oh yeah.
Let's get it done tomorrow, baby. Can't wait to go to BMO.
Sell out.
It's gonna be, and it's gonna
Argos,
be cold.
baby.
Gonna have to put on the gloves, get the
Be
toque
awesome.
on. It's gonna be great. Cannot wait for it, bud.
10 out of 10. I cannot wait. And then we will see you after the Argos and Leafs game.
Boy, if the Argos lose, it's gonna be a sour show.
If the Argos lose tomorrow, it's gonna be a 5-minute Leafs talk guaranteed. It's gonna be like, yeah, whatever. You got something to say? No. Okay, good night.
Bye.
Leave 5 stars on iTunes and Spotify if that's where you get this podcast. If you're watching on YouTube right now, bang the thumbs up button, leave a comment, do all those things. We always appreciate it. And you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JDBunkus, at Sam McKee. We will see you tomorrow night.